Monday! Welcome to your Monday! What is up, chat? How's everybody doing? Did you guys have a good weekend? Was it a great weekend? Did you guys do anything awesome? Anything real crazy? What's going on out there? What's going on out there? Also, yes, your eyes did not deceive you guys. I was trying earlier today. I was gonna try to multi-stream, man. I was gonna stream on the Twitch. I was gonna stream on Twitter. I'm gonna stream here on YouTube, of course. And yeah, I don't know. It just didn't work. So I was like, okay, well, I guess if we're just not going to work, well then, screw that. I guess we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Went to a wedding. That sounds awesome. Steelers W. Hell yeah. Eagles lost, though. Yeah, the Eagles did lose, huh? Yeah, more chairs? No, I don't think so. Shang-Chi news was cool. Wait, what? What Shang-Chi news? What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? What the hell? What in tarnation is this guy on about? Josh, give us a Peacemaker dance. What? Oh boy, here we go. Starting off great here. Oh, it's gonna be a good week, I can tell. It's gonna be a good week. The Shang leaks. I'll show you some Shang leaks. Why X Live not working? I don't know, brother. Couldn't tell you. You watched Evo France? SF6 rocks? Oh shit, okay. Oh shit, okay. Simu said he filmed a scene with Professor X and Magneto. Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, so today, guys, we're going to get into Comic-Con. Going to talk a good bit about New York Comic-Con, which, frankly, is kind of... it's making some big moves, man. It kind of feels like New York is shaping up to I don't know if I want to say replace San Diego, but man, oh, man, New York seeming to be like a pretty big fucking deal, man. And next year actually is going to be the 20th year anniversary for New York Comic-Con, which is kind of crazy. So I think next year we got to go to Comic-Con and we got to do a meetup next year. It's been probably 3 years since that meetup, which I can't believe. Time is a flat circle and it's crazy. But yeah. New York Comic-Con news feels underwhelming. Oh, yeah, Nathan? Is that so, Nathan? Well, then maybe you could just see your way out, Nathan. If it's not, if it's underwhelming, get the fuck out of here, Nathan. I'm sorry, Nathan. It's probably a little crazy. You're allowed to have your opinion. It's all good. Zach says, with a 10 spot, appreciate you, brother. Says, happy Monday, Nerd Avengers. I hope you guys are good. I got to watch after work, but I'm curious if you saw the article that said Gunn is done after Warner Brothers sells. Much love, everyone. Nerd Avengers for life. Are we starting off early? Do we want to get into this right off the bat? Zach, I appreciate it. Pause the music. Are we really going to address this like right away? You guys want me to talk about this right away? I mean, I have it in my notes, but it's like way later in the show. It's way later when we talk about that. Let's just jump right into it, maybe. John Johnston says, hang on here. Daredevil set photos showing the double Ds. Nerd Avengers for life. Hell yeah, man. I'm a sucker for those double Ds, baby. We're going to have a good time today. Let the gun bash begin. Whoa, chat. Holy cow, right off the bat. Everybody getting so aggressive. No. Maybe I'm going to support. Maybe I'm gonna protect. Maybe I know that gun's the future, and it's not, and I gotta defend him against all the slander that's out there. Yeah, you just don't know. Warhammer Heresy. You can put the music back on. We'll wait a little bit on the James Gunn story. I appreciate you though, Zach. Warhammer Heresy. Appreciate you, brother. Says my third child was born this morning. Special shout out to Caden, the newest Nerd Avenger. Oh hell yeah, brother! Congratulations, man. 3, huh? Man, 2 is wild. 2 is already pretty wild, brother. I can't even imagine 3. Although, frankly, once you get to 2, is a third one really all that much more crazy? And then they can all kind of gather and do their own thing a little bit too. So, I don't know. But congratulations either way, brother. That's awesome. And thanks for all the supports. And I'm excited too when we get a little closer to Warhammer too, because you know we're getting all the Nerd Avengers into Warhammer whether they want to or not. So once we get a little closer to Warhammer Heresy, woo, it's gonna be sick, dude. Jack Murray says, "Rest in piss, James Gunn's DC career." Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god! Did you have a bad weekend, or like what's going on here? Because like even I'm not going. That is crazy. Rest in piss, James Gunn's DC career. We go back to Xbox Live lobbies, man. Like, is this like we're Halo 2? This is crazy. Holy shit. All right, anyway. Mo from the Foe, what up, brother? Says, Nerd Avengers, let's fucking go. Been waiting on this all weekend. Good to be here. Love y'all. Yeah, it's actually, you know what? I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for the support. It's going to be a good show, man. It's going to be a really good show. It's going to be a good Monday. We got Nerd Theory later tonight. I was texting Theory a little bit last night into this morning. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to talk about, but I bet, chat, I could I'm going to make a little prediction, okay? I'm going to predict that the topic of romance novels may well come. We got to talk about romance novels tonight. I'm going to discuss a little bit about romance novels with Theory tonight on Nerd Theory. So that should be really, really exciting. And then today on the stream here with everybody, we're gonna go over Comic-Con. Comic-Con was cool, man. Comic-Con was cool. I think Invincible showed out. I think Invincible has like a really bright future. I'm very excited. I thought, you know, the trailer, the announcements, a lot of hype around Invincible. We're going to talk about DC Comics, man. DC Comics is killing it right now. And I think especially when you look at the comic book announcements from both Marvel and DC from this weekend, oh my God, dude, that's a crazy story. So we got to get into that. DC Comics kind of killing Marvel Comics right now. Announcing some really interesting stuff and doubling down on, you know, All In and the DCKO event and that sort of stuff. And then Next Level, which is, you know, we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. There are, of course, Marvel TV announcements. There's a big panel done. There's all kinds of announcements. There's trailers for Daredevil Boarding at Season 2, which I have a special kind of treat, which I want to show you guys for Daredevil. There's X-Men 97 Season 2, a whole bunch of announcements from Marvel Studios with regards to next year, Disney Plus, all of that sort of stuff. So we'll talk about that. We've got DC and Warner Brothers drama. Are they being sold? Is James Gunn going to be fired? What the hell? And then if we want to, if we have enough time later in the show, we can talk about the failure of Disney. They're really fucking up, man. This Tron Legacy movie bombing is pretty crazy. So we could, you know, I'll always save a little time at the end if you want to shit on Disney and talk about how terrible and boomer and basically a lol cow. You know, Disney in a lot of ways has become a lol cow. I don't even know if they understand how bad it is, but it's bad. Tim O'Brien says with the 10 spot, I have today off, and it's the perfect opportunity for a little Nerd Vengeance action. Community, Nerd Vengeance for life, in the words of Count Dooku. I've been looking forward to this. Much love, Josh. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. P. Adi Diddy says, don't cancel me, but I loved Tron Ares. Also, picked up the arcade popcorn bucket. Not as good as Lacey, but a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10 for me. I'm not going to cancel you. The thing that's really weird about Tron Legacy is like I am seeing a decent bit of that kind of energy, you know, people that saw it and actually thought it was good. There's some people that are giving it a lot of props, a lot of discussion about how it's a visual spectacle and stuff like that. But like, I just like it's fine. And I appreciate you bringing it up, but the overwhelming narrative is not that. It's almost like that is being completely pushed to the side. And the focus is, wow, this is such a terrible, disappointing flop. And how many hundreds of millions of dollars did Disney lose this time? What's the explanation? What's going on with Disney? What's going on with movies? That's the narrative, dude. So although, I mean, I guess what I would say to you, right, is I wonder what you think. Because you think the movie's dope. And it's bombing. Like, it's bombing, bro. It didn't even make what Morbius made opening weekend. My God. So how do you make sense of that? Or like, what are you thinking? You think Hollywood's just over? Is it just like we're just gonna have these same conversations over the next couple of years for a while, of like, oh, this movie is doing nothing, but it's actually pretty decent. You know, we just see that over and over again. Is that the thing? I don't know. 100 million plus budget had to be, right? Had to be at least 150 million. It's probably more than 150 million, right? It's probably more than that. And look, just as an example, like, I mean, fuck it. I'll bring it up. I wasn't going to bring this up this early, but I'll bring this up when it comes to the Tron Legacy, because I think this is such a wild comparison to make here. Okay, so I want to show you this. We've been talking a lot about anime lately, man. You know, with obviously the Demon Slayer movie blowing up, which we'll talk a little bit about today, because there was this weird story where they tried to act like the movie wasn't making money, and like it erased 100 million to 200 million, but nobody's really buying that, and so it's still crushing it. But look at this. This is interesting. So Sony and Crunchyroll's Chainsaw Man, the movie, Res Arc, grossed an estimated 4.3 internationally this weekend from 13 markets, handled by Sony and Crunchyroll. Estimated international total in all release markets thus far stands at $59 million. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I actually think it's a pretty crazy thing you can compare to what's going on with Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy just opened up at about 60 million international. It did like 33 million domestic. It did 20 something million globally. It is standing, I think it's literally at 60 million. Okay. And that's its opening weekend. So first week. Chainsaw Man, which, like, guys, how many of you even know about Chainsaw Man? I mean, I know it's the Den of Nerds. I know we got some sweaties, right? I know we got some sweaties in here. But how many of y'all are even, like, aware of Chainsaw Man? Like, real talk. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to see it next weekend, actually. We're going to a premium screen. We're traveling. But we're big sweaty nerds over here at the Lucas house, you know? Most of you guys probably don't even know what this is, right? So the point is, the Chainsaw Man has been out internationally for 2 weeks, and it has made the same amount of money as Tron Legacy. And I know that it's just the opening weekend, but here's the thing. Tron Legacy is going to go like this, basically, and the Chainsaw Man movie is going to go like this. Now, Chainsaw Man is not going to get to the level of Demon Slayer, at least I don't think so. Demon Slayer is something like the Coke of anime, like it's the Marvel. It's like, it's very, very big, very, just a lot of mass appeal, right? Probably like one of the biggest things going on right now. But make no mistake, Chainsaw Man is huge. You on the outside of anime probably do not understand how big of a deal Chainsaw Man is. It is a very big deal. This movie will make, I don't know, a couple $100 million, probably at least 100 million. I mean, it's already at 60 and it hasn't opened in any real big, you know, markets, North American markets. So the point I'm trying to make to you is we live in a world, guys, and you really should just consider what this means, okay? We live in a world where Disney is spending hundreds of millions of dollars and bombing over and over again. And Tron is this huge, big brand. They spend, literally, guys, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on this. Even if they figured out a way to, like, knock that down with, like, incentives or, you know, whatever kind of accounting tricks that they do in Hollywood, they literally spent, like, hundreds of millions of dollars came out of an account and went into other people's accounts because of the purchases and the expenditures of making Tron Legacy, okay? And I don't know what Chainsaw Man costs, 20 million? Maybe? Total. So this movie in 2 weeks, not opening in the North American audience, not being on anybody's radar really, has made the same amount of money as the big Disney thing in theaters over the past couple of weeks. And again, it's like, I really think we've been following this. We've been talking about this for a while. Anime is this big elephant in the room, I think, for a lot of Western distributors and Hollywood in general. But these numbers are staggering. I don't know what's crazier, frankly. Is it crazier that Hollywood has fallen off, or that Disney specifically has fallen off so hard that it's now doing this, that it's literally spending hundreds of millions of dollars to underperform, to become a lolcow, to just get laughed into oblivion? And I mean, I thought the experience of Tron Legacy from the outside looking in was so disturbing and weird. And I actually had a moment that made me think like, oh my God, this is what normies think of us Marvel fans. And that sucks. That's like fucking depressing. The point being that from the outside looking in, it looked like there's this big opening weekend, all these social media stars and influencers that like go to Tron premiere, and it's all over social media. And then you have this like social media reaction. Everybody's like really positive about it because they just went to like basically a party for the elite. And then we roll into the reviews, and it's like, okay, the reviews are kind of like a little bit of cold water on the hype machine. And then, oh, wait, it can't even beat Morbius. This is a fucking bomb. Nobody gives a fuck. And it's like, the more they try to make it seem like it's a big deal, the premieres are starting to feel so gross. Like Stepford Wives energy, like just bizarro, uncanny, like really weird. Now, this is just my opinion, of course. Okay, I wonder if any of you share the same opinion. But what I'm saying is, like, dude, it's a really bad look. Ultimately, what I'm trying to get across is, it's a bad look, bro. Like, I'm sorry. The discourse around all of the stuff that's been happening, the rituals, which rituals are a really important part of branding. All brands, all really successful brands have rituals and have a way to engage their audience in a way that feels ritualistic. And Marvel and Disney, they've literally turned their rituals kind of like into poison. And from my perspective, it had the opposite effect of what I think it's supposed to. If you think about it, what is the idea of a red carpet? Right? What is the idea? Like, why do they even do it? What do you think? Why do they even do red carpets, guys? They do it to give a sense of FOMO. They do it to like give this thing a cultural significance. It's meant to make you like have this hyped experience and sort of want to be a part of it. It's ritualistic, right? All that sort of stuff. So the intent behind that is to be positive for the movie and the company. It's supposed to feel like a big fucking party, and if you're really into it, you're like, oh my God, the red carpet, people seem hyped. Oh my God, the first social media reactions, people love this shit. Oh my God, the reviews. Oh my God, the success. Like, that's supposed to be the cycle. But I'm telling you right now, like with Disney, it's become the opposite. It's become like, oh my God, another Disney red carpet. It's super uncanny how all of these people are pretending this is a big deal when we clearly know it isn't. It's super weird how everybody there's pretending like Disney's just been doing great and Hollywood's killing it, and it's clearly not. Like, it just feels weird, you know? And then you get into the social media reactions, and I'm not even being hyperbolic here, dude. This is the fucking nice version of this, frankly. What does it feel like the next day, right? As the reviews come out? Like, we're going through the motions, like we're trying to like decipher through the layers of bullshit and filtering whether or not it's just more Disney slop or not. And the reality is, it's just not, like, there's not a lot of trust with that group of people anyways, but even still, those people are not really being kind to the Disney stuff in general. It's just, I feel as though Hollywood, and maybe it's just a Disney thing. Maybe it's just Disney, you know? Maybe it's just a Disney thing. But it kind of feels like Disney is so behind the times and so out of touch that, like, the more they get out here and do all the stuff they normally do, it just becomes, like, extra irritating because you're like, wow, like, you really don't get it. Like, you really don't get it. And I just think it's, like, a super bad look. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Tron stuff. Finto says, I know you are an MMA head. What the fuck's happening with Smashing Machine? 13 million globally after 10 days. Never seen something perform so low. I mean, what? Look, I'll tell you my thoughts on it. Yeah, that's what you're asking. I'll tell you my thoughts on it, right? I think people don't give a fuck about Hollywood anymore. Like, again, brother, like, and this is going to sound... I think there was a time maybe where there was a sort of resentment in Hollywood, and there was, oh man, like Hollywood's being stupid and silly and they're doing all these different things. And that's one thing. But then the reaction from Hollywood, which felt like a double down and this like super dismissive, like, I think, look, what does it mean? It only did 13 million in 10 days. It means the market doesn't give a fuck. That's what it means. It means the market doesn't give a fuck. Why doesn't the market give a fuck? Well, I mean, it's The Rock pursuing high art acting. I think you could literally probably stop right there, right? It's actually not that complicated. The Rock was like, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to try to like find a script and a director, and I'm going to try to like build this artistic expression of like my thespian side or whatever, like this, that, second, and the third. I mean, the reality is people don't give a fuck. Like, and honestly, like, I had a lot of different takes on this that I just didn't say because who gives a shit? And I don't have to be mean about it on Twitter. The movie's bombing. Everybody knows what's up. I mean, it's a really big L, I think. I think it's made all the more bad because of how invested The Rock was in the performance and sort of how, you know, it just feels like he's doing that thing that a lot of people do where they're like, I don't give a fuck. This one's for me. And I still feel like a winner. And it's like, okay, but the reality of that is, I mean, I don't know what is more gross to an audience than that kind of energy. You know what I mean? Because what you're kind of saying is like, I don't give a fuck about your approval. Which, by the way, Chad, I don't give a fuck about your approval. But the point is, like, when you're The Rock and you're a big mass appeal superstar, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you should probably like, give a fuck. Yeah. And by the way, too, I honestly think, and a lot of people have talked about this, like a lot of people have talked about this, right? So I'm not some fucking genius, you know, with this new novel idea that's like super shocking. But I truly believe that Hollywood is, like a lot of Hollywood people are super unaware of just how much resentment there is for what many people just perceive as like their group. You know what I mean? And I think they're severely underestimating that energy, that temperament out there with people. I mean, because what else is the explanation? You know what I mean? Like, what else is the explanation, really? So, I mean, I think when it comes to The Rock, dude, nobody gives a fuck about that. And I honestly heard the movie wasn't even that good. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see it. I'll probably never watch that movie because, again, like, I'm sorry, Rock. Like, I don't give a fuck about your thespian shit. Like, I just don't, man. Like, I want to see throw motherfuckers through a wall. I want you to get back on a cycle, and I want you to get jacked to the gills, and I want you to throw motherfuckers through walls. What do I know? Piatti Diddy says, I think it's a mix of Disney, Jared Leto, and the fact that it's a Tron movie that it bombed. They all did. The fandom also isn't that big, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's probably multiple factors for sure. But at the end of the day, why does it seem like all of these multiple factors keep happening to this one individual studio? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I think Disney, I don't know, man. I'm at a place with Disney where I just think they're so hilariously out of touch. Like, didn't they just literally announce a new Lion King thing? Like, didn't that just happen today or yesterday? Like, in the middle of all of this shit. Like, and it really just feels, and I have a toddler, okay? I have a toddler, and I have a 1-year-old. Well, she's not one yet, but she's basically a couple months away from being one. But, you know, so my son he just like won't stop talking, and he's at this phase where like he wants to repeat things like over and over again, right? Where he'll be like, you have to go into the office, but like he just wants to say it over and over again. He's like, Dada, you have to go into the office, and he's just like, he just needs to like you, and it's like the thing at it's obviously very it can get very irritating, but you have to just like go along with it because it's a toddler, and he's just like building up his neuron strength and memories and stuff like that. But Disney feels like that, except they're not a toddler. Like Disney feels like that, except like they're a grown ass fucking $1 billion company, publicly traded. Like they there's no reason that they should be acting like this, but they literally feel like a toddler. Like I feel like they're like, we're gonna make another Lion King, and it's like, my son. It's like, Jesus, we're gonna make another Lion King. We're gonna make it. It's like, dude, Disney, Jesus. Maybe like fix yourself. We're gonna make a Toy Story. We're making another Lilo and Stitch. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit, bro. Disney's a grown-up trapped in a toddler's body. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's a little wild, but maybe. All right, should we begin? Should we get into some of this breaking of downs in the breaking? I just want a downs in the breaking. Okay? I want a downs in the breaking. I want to break in its downs. And I think we should start with Invincible, man. Little Invincible, huh? I can't find anywhere they just announced a new Lion King other than Daniel RPK. So, yeah, no, it's Daniel for sure. You don't think he's Disney? Oh, I mean, I think he's Disney. Maybe not, okay? What kind of point? What are you trying to make? You trying to make a point here, Adam? What are you trying to say? Huh? What are you trying to say? Only one studio made $1 billion film this year. Guess what studio is that? Yeah, but so that's obviously fair. But like, if you think Disney's having a good year at the box office, you're missing like parts of your brain. Do you see what I mean? So like, you could say that, and there's all sorts of ways to like specifically take data and take it out of context and like try to make a point. But if you're trying to argue that Disney's having a good year, then like we're just going to move you to a different classroom where you can have more one-on-one time. We're going to put you in a smaller bus for your rides home so that you can feel more safe. We're going to give you the care that you need. And it's okay. You know, it's okay. Appreciate you. All right, let's talk about Invincible, baby. Steve Starenka says, happy Monday, Nerd Avengers. Nerd Avengers for life. Oh, hell yeah. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about Invincible, guys. New York Comic-Con happened over the weekend, and man, I feel like Invincible borderline stole the show. They had an incredible presentation, and I think I saw a ton of hype out there, and not all positive. There was, some negative stuff, and of course the fans have to be crazy and ridiculous. But overall, I felt like Invincible made a really, really good showing. So we're going to take you through some of the announcements and things that came out there. I'm going to let this just kind of play in the background. So this is the trailer. And again, they've been doing these. They do these at the burger joint. It's kind of like a thing for Invincible. One of the things that kind of pains me about this, because I watched this probably like many of you guys, and I was like, dude, this actually looks crispy. Because the animation is one of the things I think has really held Invincible back. There's some incredible stuff in season 1. Season 2 was terrible. Season 3, better, and I think it's some of the big moments, like the conquest fight and whatever, really, really good animation. But overall, animation kind of a weak point. Now, this is so much of a thing that the show itself has tried to be self-referential, kind of joke about it. The fans, not really feeling it, still kind of mean about it online. And I think, honestly, kind of fair. Like, it's literally so bad at times. Like, there were a couple episodes in season 3 that I was like, my God, this is legitimately really bad. And there were a couple episodes in season 2 that were like that as well. Now, they have said, I think even Kirkman himself has said, that it's just going to get better and better, that they're kind of like, they're building assets, they're learning things, they're working with a specific team in a company, and that company is getting better and better, and they're like, so everything should be crispier, and it should be faster as time goes on. So that's really good. And I was watching this trailer like many of you, and I was like, dude, holy shit, this is looking incredible. Here's the problem, though, and many of you probably already know this. This is the porn animators, okay? Or the corn animators, sorry. We got to say corn, or we'll get banned or something. I don't know. Anyway, these are the corn animators. If you didn't know this, guys, yeah, this company, whatever this company is, that they always get to do the Invincible commercials. This is a corn company. They do a lot of spicy animated things, and I think that's what they're most known for. That's actually, I'm 100% serious. That's actually totally true. So that's kind of a bummer. Many people pointed out, like, oh man, this is not actually going to be the animation. And I guess I'll just stop for a second and say, fucking why? Like, why? What are we doing here? Like, why? Why can you afford them? I don't get it. Like, they're coming in, they're doing really great work, man. It's mostly just dialogue, but I'm telling you, like, it's fluid, hand-drawn animation that is quality. Like, you can tell, and everybody online said the same fucking thing, dude. Like, they kept saying, like, look it up. Go on Twitter. Check out what people are saying about the Invincible trailer. It's basically all the same shit where they're like, damn, those corn animators really cooked. Bro, let them cook on the real show. Like, what are we doing here? Let them cook on the real show. Anyways, within this trailer, we did get a release date. March 2026, season 4 of Invincible comes out. Now, I don't know if they confirmed this, but it will likely take the model that they usually do with Invincible, which would be 3 episodes to start and then weekly from there. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm pretty sure that's what they do for The Boys as well. Is that like 3 episode thing and then weekly from there? I think it's a good formula. Last year was great, man. I think Invincible in season 3 really proved that it could get back to form, get back to being on top, and it was really good. It wasn't flawless, but holy shit, it ended in a way that had me so fucking excited. So, Invincible season 4 in March 2026. Now, what's interesting about that is this thing's going head to head with Daredevil Born Again. Now, look. We're going to talk about Marvel in a little bit. I've got a whole thing about Marvel, and we're going to get into the Daredevil stuff because many of you believe season 2 of Daredevil is going to be a lot better. We're looking forward to it. We're hoping it's going to be much better. However, Invincible is fucking cooking in season 4, straight up. And so I am really interested. I mean, first of all, yes, nerds are eating good, as somebody points out in chat, absolutely, and that's fair. But the reality is, man, this is going to be a head-to-head. If Invincible can outchart Daredevil, my God, what a crazy data point. It's like, once again, we're going to have another conversation about Marvel Studios, about emerging, interest, fans navigating, migrating to other spaces, how certain companies' brands are handling the cape shit way better, because in Daredevil season 1 gets beat by fucking Mobland, dude. Like I couldn't believe it. Mobland at like 400 something million views. It literally reaches Nielsen's charts over top of Daredevil Born Again season 1. I couldn't fucking believe it. And Invincible season 3 hit Nielsen charts twice. The last 2 episodes hit Nielsen. And so Invincible has some sauce, man. And they really did get a lot of people engaged. And going into a season 4, I mean, this is another thing that's like really crazy and interesting about Invincible, Amazon, all this changing space in the entertainment realm. fourth season, well, all 3 of the other seasons are now going to count towards Invincible charting on Nielsen week to week. So what that means is because it has what I consider to be maybe one of the best back libraries out of any of these big shows that are out there right now. And that damn sure includes Daredevil. Like, you cannot tell me motherfuckers are going to go back and watch the first season of Daredevil board again to get ready for season 2. I mean, I feel like going out and literally trying to talk individuals out of that on an individual person-by-person basis, that cannot happen. That's not going to happen. That shit sucked ass. Sorry, I'm overreacting a little bit. The point I'm trying to make is, if we dial it back a little bit, the point I'm trying to make here is Invincible is really well positioned, guys. Invincible is really well positioned to beat Daredevil's ass and all of a sudden be looking like one of the top dogs in not just the cape shit thing, but in entertainment overall. My God. Okay, so that's just the one thing with the trailer and the announcement. The other thing they had, and I thought this was so cool, they bring out Lee Pace, and they reveal him as Thrag. Now, the sweaty among you know what a big deal Thrag is. The emperor of the Viltrumite Empire, the guy, Viltrumite War coming up. Dude, the fights, oh my God. And the voice, Lee Pace, great voice. You probably remember Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser. If you've watched the show Foundation on Apple TV, you will recognize Lee Pace from there, as he is one of the emperors in Foundation. Incredible voice, man. Great voice. So, holy shit, Lee Pace as Thrag. That's dope, man. So that's really, really big. But on top of that, guys, Invincible versus the fighting game, which, look, we're not gonna go like crazy sweaty here, because I know not all of us are gamers here, but the dev team here, like, if you're really into video games, and you watch like Maximilian Dude, Max has sort of covered Invincible versus over the last couple of years because a lot of his favorite devs from like the old company that made the Killer Instinct fighting games is on this game. So like, this game has like hardcore gamers tuning in and getting like very interested in this. I'm not talking about Invincible fans. I'm talking about fighting game fans. Fighting game fans have put this game on my radar for like over a year now. And I'm quite interested in this game. And they announced at Comic-Con that Cecil would be a playable character here. And you have the different designs here from the comic book, the animated show, and then, of course, the video game here. They showed some footage and stuff. It's really, really cool. But the point is this. Invincible, all of a sudden, is really making some waves. I mean, the Battle Beast comic book that they launched as sort of a spin-off to Invincible performed pretty well. So Invincible in the comic book space is actually making some waves, doing some interesting stuff, okay? You have the video game space. Invincible's about to have, I think, maybe the hottest game of the first quarter, maybe even the first half of the year. Certainly for fighting game fans, but it's possible, depending on how this goes, Invincible Versus could be one of the hottest games of the first half of next year. And that's just, I mean, look at what Marvel Rivals did. We have a story we're going to talk about Marvel Rivals sort of falling off a bit later. But make no mistake about it, Marvel Rivals and its big pop in the video game space was really important to Marvel weathering the storm of some of the bad things that happened this year and into last year. So, dude, Invincible is making moves. I'm really excited for next year for Invincible. I'm going to check out the game. I'm looking forward to reading into some comic books. I can't wait for March, man. I can't wait. I don't know if we're going to do watch parties for the show because I think they air them super late at night. But I might do breakdowns, man. I might do like a 3-season recap, talk about the comic book stories that we think might be adapted. There's things that aren't even in the comic book, like the Darkwing or Damien Darkblood, storyline and how that could connect to Conquest. That shit wasn't even in the comics, man. So like they might be cooking stuff that's really fun and cool that's not even in the comic books. You know what I mean? So, dude, holy shit. Invincible from a place at season 2 where, man, I mean, I wasn't really rude about it, but you guys in chat, you guys were really mean about Invincible season 2, you know, calling it all sorts of names, clowning it on social media, you know what I mean? Saying that X-Men 97 was better than it, all this stuff. You guys were wild out there. I always told you that I thought Invincible had a good chance to weather that storm, to figure out the problems that it's having, and to come back to the market with a much better strategy and clean brand synergy and, you know, exciting stuff like that. So it absolutely has happened. I'm a little bit surprised because, man, it was pretty bad in season 2. But goddamn, Invincible's cooking, baby. So I'm excited. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? I'm like genuinely really excited for Invincible. I'm really excited for Kirkman. You know, it's just cool, man. Invincible was always really good in the comics. It never like was insanely popular as a comic book. Like, it always was respected, though. And so to see that thing that was like a really good body of work now being adapted, frankly, at a time when cape shit is kind of like, you know, a lot of it sucks ass, man. And I just think there's something to be said for Kirkman coming in and kind of doing his thing here. You know, he kind of does it with Walking Dead, and now he's doing it with Invincible. This is crazy. Josh, the master gaslighter. Hey, you don't say that. Invincible, not that big. Hey, you don't say that. Never could get into Invincible. What the fuck? That's 3 negative comments in a row about Invincible. You guys aren't excited about Invincible? I'm shutting this fucking stream down. You know, I get excited. All of a sudden, I start getting excited about something and everybody hates it. It didn't chart last year. Yes, it did. Well, actually, no, it wasn't Well, yeah, no, it was last year. I don't know. I'm right, you're wrong. How about that? How about that? I still need to finish season 3. What are you waiting for? Season 3 is incredible. What the hell? Have you guys... Wait a minute. Hang on a second. I need to see something here. Chat, how many of you have not actually watched Invincible? Like, throw a 1 into the chat if you have not watched all of Invincible so far. I need to know. What is happening here? Oh my God. Yeah, Adam, if you could do me a favor, just ban all of those people that put 1s in there. It's going to be an empty chat tomorrow, you know what I mean? Hey, speaking of tomorrow, I'm in the middle of a fucking Invincible segment, but I'm just going to tell you this. Guys, check this out. Okay, we get it. You guys don't like Invincible. You have terrible fucking taste. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to need to change that. And I'm literally demanding that you all get into Invincible. I'm not even fucking around. Like, the Warhammer thing I get, like, it's fine. Warhammer's a little crazy. It's a little hardcore. But you will get into Invincible. That's just happening. I'm going to fucking Clockwork Orange your ass. Like, you're getting into Invincible. That's my personal fucking mission. Anyway, point is this. Something really cool is happening today. Okay? I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. I'll tell you some bad news first, and then I'll tell you some good news. Okay? Bad news. No Nerdvenger stream this week. No member stream on Wednesday. I know. I'm sorry. We can blame Adam. Okay, you can blame Adam. The only day that Adam could play Warhammer was Wednesday night, and I also, like, I was on the fence about doing it this week because I kind of want to prepare a little bit more for the next stream, and then Adam was like, I need Wednesday, we gotta hang out and play Warhammer. So I was like, okay, shit, so damn, my bad. But here's the thing, chat. Okay, there's good news too. Hear me out. Hang on. Hear me out. There's good news too, and there's good news. The good news is my Hot Toys Doctor Doom premium figure should arrive this afternoon. Let's go! Let's fucking go! Oh, hell yeah. And you might be like, wait, what? Why is that good news for us? Who gives a shit about your happiness, Josh? I despise that you're going to have a good day. And I get it. But Grand Admiral's got it. Yes, I'm going to unbox it for you, but not today. Yeah, not today. Not today. Tomorrow. So I haven't been streaming on Tuesdays, and I do have a lot to do tomorrow. But I figured what we could do tomorrow is when I first wake up, whenever I get up, I'll get a couple coffees in me. We'll get awake and all that. And what we'll do, guys, is I actually have 2 Doctor Dooms to unbox for you. I have a really shitty Doctor Doom figure that we got off of like Alibaba or something that was like $5. And then we got the very expensive one from, and I don't even know what it was, like 700, 1,000. It was something like that. I don't remember what it was. But we're going to compare the $5 Doctor Doom figure to the $1,000 Doctor Doom figure. And that'll be fun. So tomorrow we'll do that. Okay. And again, I don't know. I'll wake up. I'll set the stream up because I want to unbox this fucking thing too. But I have a very busy day today. Yeah, we're going to do Nerd Theory tonight. Yeah, we're going to do Nerd Theory. So we have this show. We have this stream today. And then we have Nerd Theory. So then I'm going to unbox tomorrow. So no stream Wednesday. I apologize. But we will have a stream tomorrow when we unbox dope-ass Doctor Doom figures. Let's go. Hell yeah. Anyways, back to Invincible, guys. This segment has gotten out of control. Okay, I'm shocked and frankly a little disappointed. I know we all got in here. You know, a lot of us in this community got in through Marvel or Star Wars, and I totally get it. Okay, but I mean, guys, they fucked it up. Okay, and look, I think Marvel might be able to turn it around, maybe Star Wars some way eventually and all that, but really, no, it's fucked, it's over. So we need to fucking migrate. Okay, we need to fucking migrate. We can't, like, we need to embrace the absolute dopeness that is out there. Some of you seem afraid of anime and how dope it is and how it's taking over. Some of you guys feel afraid of Invincible and how dope it is and how it's taking over. Some of you guys feel afraid of Warhammer. You know what I mean? Some of you guys are afraid of the video game movies. You know? Guys, we need to embrace the new. We need to embrace the new. Invincible is fucking legit, dude. Like, it's legit. Like it's a great comic. Show, really good. Okay? Dope characters. It has fucking, like, masculinity and shit. Like, it's got, like, Invincible is good. How much are they paying you? Holy shit. They're not paying me shit. In fact, because clearly all of you fuckers don't like Invincible enough, I clearly have never made a lot of money off of my Invincible videos or coverage either way. And by the way, if you're seeing this, oh my God. If you're seeing this video and somehow you're still watching it 18 minutes in and you are an Invincible fan, you need to fucking subscribe to this channel. You need to subscribe to this Clips channel. You need to subscribe to the live streaming channel. The only way that we can get all these people to shut the fuck up is if all the Invincible fans come here and then I start covering Invincible and we get into Invincible and then we tell all the other people in chat that don't like Invincible that they're stupid. Okay? So please, for the love of God, help me transform my community into an Invincible community. I'm all about Invincible. It's over for Marvel Studios. The Hat Man can't cook anymore. Invincible only. Smash like. Thank you very fucking much. All right, that's going to do it for that segment. All right, anyway. Change scares me. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. All right, let me catch up on a couple of chats here. Catch up on a couple of soupies here. Happy Hogan is a simp says, hey, what the fuck is Invincible? He, what the fuck? Cool Bear says, I'm only afraid of the nightmares I get after falling asleep to listening to you talk about Snorehammer. Thanks, man. Brandon says, sorry, man, watched Invincible season 1, but the dad's brutality to his kid was too much for me. The dad's brutality to his kid was too much for me. So you're telling me that beating your progeny to within an inch of his life, but then, like, not killing him and flying away so fast that the blood, like, evaporates off of you at hypersonic, supersonic speed? Doesn't resonate with you? Like, at any level? different strokes, different folks, I guess. You know what? Don't worry. Because we've got the next cushy season of Champions for you. Don't worry, bud. You can watch Wanda's two kids that took over other people's bodies, and Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop. And you can watch them go do a bunch of lame-ass shit. Yeah. No, I'm serious. Just Invincible is so good, dude. It's so good. What are you guys? You guys are crazy. You guys are fucking crazy. You guys are crazy. Now you've said it, I think it does resonate. There you go. Okay, can we talk a little bit about DC comics and Marvel comics, man? I gotta get some of this pulled up. This was crazy to me, dude. Okay, pull this up here. Oh man. Oh man. This is why we can't have nice things, chat. Okay. Okay, we need to talk about Marvel Comics and DC Comics, man. This is crazy. Now, like a lot of different topics that we cover here, this has been an ongoing discussion. DC Comics been sort of closing in on Marvel Comics for a while. Marvel Comics kind of floundering. Marvel Comics had, the Ultimate Universe, which was a big boon for them, but then the All-In Universe from DC kind of came in, stole a lot of their thunder. If you look at DC overall, it's just crushing Marvel, dude. Their All-In stuff is performing way better than most Marvel books. The Batman stuff is crushing. DC is just killing it right now. What you're looking at right here is literally the announcements from Marvel Studios. The big announcements from Marvel Comics. I'm dead ass. These are actually the announcements. What are the announcements? Well, the announcements are that the Ultimate Universe is ending. So this big, cool Ultimate Universe fun thing, it's over. Okay, so they announced that there's going to be a series of final issues for all of the different books that are going to wrap up that Ultimate Universe. There's also going to be an event called Ultimate Endgame, which is going to wrap up the Ultimates universe. On top of that, there's a big event going on right now called One World Under Doom, which I believe has been mostly underwhelming for folks. And they announced a follow-up to that series called Dungeons of Doom, which looks really cool, but the solicitation for it spoils that Doom is going to die and disappear and no longer be Sorcerer Supreme. And a bunch of people, after Doom goes away and there's a power vacuum, they want to take over Doom's castle. They get trapped in a dungeon, and that's what the book is about. So, look, on one hand, that seems kind of cool. On the other hand, oh my God, dude, you're totally spoiling the end of One World Under Doom. And then, of course, then they spoil this next thing, Sorcerer Supreme, the next big series that's going to talk about who becomes the Sorcerer Supreme now. Which, again, is like, Doom's no longer going to be Sorcerer Supreme. Now, the one actual head turner, the one announcement here that was actually kind of dope, is a new Iron Man series by Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williamson, kind of blowing up in the comic book scene, had a huge run at DC. Very, very influential, mostly DC comic book writer. And I forget the artist on this, but the artist on this is a super big deal as well, okay? I say all of this to tell you that this was legitimately the big announcements for Marvel Comics at New York Comic Con. I just want you to sit with this for a second. The big announcements for Marvel Comic Con are all about the ending of an Ultimate Universe, the ending of One World Under Doom, and then a new Iron Man book. That's the announcements. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world. The Iron Man book seems cool. I'm looking forward to finally catching up on the Ultimates and learning about everything that happened here. I'm probably not going to pull any of these books up here about Doom and Sorcerer Supreme and all that. Of course, I'll be sort of a little bit interested in who becomes Sorcerer Supreme, especially if it's Valyria. That's kind of interesting. But this is the DC announcements, okay? This is the DC comic announcements. DC has announced that their DC KO comic event will feature the Annabelle doll, Red Sonja, Homelander, Sub-Zero, Vampirilla, and Beneath the Trees, Samantha Strong. So, Marvel is soliciting the end of a universe, the end of an event, and a new Iron Man series. And DC is breaking fucking ground. DC is going for it in a way that is not like, this is going to turn heads, man. This is going to get a lot of comic book fans interested. This is going to get a lot of fans that are just generally interested in what's going on with superheroes. Very interested, dude. And this is being built into the DCKO event, which is this huge multiversal tournament. It's like the Tournament of Power from Dragon Ball, but with DC characters. So, like, man, one of these things is not like the other, you know? And holy shit, like, I've never seen a more clear juxtaposition of a company that is seemingly creatively bankrupt or for whatever reason just constrained and so stagnant. I mean, Marvel is so stagnant and their comic line feels so stagnant, dude. They're like rebooting their X-Men again already because X-Men can't even really sell that well. My God, bro. So again, we've talked about this for a while, but when something like this happens, dude, like at a really big Comic-Con, because like, again, this is a super big Comic-Con, man. There's like basically no other big ones for the rest of the year. This is it. This was the place to make your big announcements. This was the place to get people excited. This was the place to hype people up. DC is already killing it. And you have so many people kind of showing up being like, what's going on with DC? And they're like, hey, guess what? Not only have we been killing it, we're about to do shit you've never even seen before. We're about to do stuff that's like, it's going to change the industry. Like, this is like big time crossover, like super fun, awesome shit. Marvel has been so down that most of their fans show up to be like, what is happening here? And again, it's their announcements is about the ending in a new Joshua Williams Iron Man book. Dude, this is like really, really disastrous. I think it's going to have a huge, impactful change on the industry overall. I've actually really never witnessed something like this happen, where the top two sort of positions within any individual market. So this is like a Pepsi Coke situation. This would be like Pepsi starting to like overtake Coke. Nowadays, when you go to a restaurant, I don't know, 8 out of 10 times it's going to have Coke. This would be like all of a sudden you start going to restaurants and like half of them start serving Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, more and more people are starting to talk about Pepsi. I've never seen something like this happen. I would be truly shocked if this absolutely flipped and DC took the majority of the market share. But if they do, I just don't know. I don't know what kind of an effect that would have on the market overall. I don't know how Marvel would respond, but it almost feels like something like that needs to happen to like get Marvel to fully realize just how bad it is and how out of touch they are with being able to surprise and entice consumers. You know, there's another element here too. There's another element here, which is that, you know, we've heard over the last couple of years, whether it's Rob Liefeld or some of these other artists or writers, that DC pays better. DC takes better care of their creators, and Marvel, unfortunately, especially in the last couple of years, probably because of Disney and just being connected to Disney as a company, has unfortunately been pretty shitty to talent, man. So much so that certain artists are literally boycotting them, don't ever want to work for them again. And Liefeld's one of them, but there are other ones as well. And I think that's part of it. I mean, frankly, if you cannot attract talent to Marvel, right? If it feels constrained, if there's a lot of anti-Disney energy there, if they don't seem to be taking care of creators, if they're not giving proper royalties, if you don't get taken care of when they adapt your stuff, I mean, that is like such a destructive force. We might actually be seeing the outward effects of a philosophy that has overtaken Marvel for the last couple of years. So really and truly, a fascinating time. And I'm so excited for this, dude. I can't wait. And I hope they do even more. Like, can you imagine, guys? Because you know what the next one is. Do you know what's really, I mean, can I just say it? Can I just say the thing that, like, if DC really wanted to bury Marvel, if they wanted to just fucking bury them, do you know what comes next? I bet some of you know. I bet some of you could figure it out. We got a couple smart mofos in here. What comes next? What could bury Marvel? The answer's right in your face, dude. Manga. The answer's right in our faces. Manga. Straight up. If they start collaborating with mangas, if DC goes beyond all of these other characters, your Sub-Zeros, your Red Sonjas, your Homelanders, what if he meets homie from Bleach? You know what I mean? Like, what if he meets Luffy? You know what I mean? Like, what if he meets Goku, Vegeta? What if it's Gundam? I mean, what do we talk about for the past couple of weeks here, man? What do we always talk about? How prevalent manga is, how popular anime is. I mean, we're literally talking about these anime movies. They're making as much as superhero movies now. If I were DC and if I were Scott Snyder, which, by the way, dude, I cannot speak highly enough of Scott Snyder. First of all, he's an incredibly talented dude, a really good, awesome family man, hardworking guy. But he's kind of, I mean, in some ways here with this all-in thing, he's kind of put the industry on his back a little bit. And I think made some serious headway. So I really like Scott Snyder. I think he's literally doing so much for comics right now. Like, he is an incredible ambassador for comics, but, like, dude, he is, like, doing stuff for this space, for this industry. So Scott, man, holy shit. Killing it out here. But if I were Scott, man, I'd be trying to contact all of the mangakas. I'd be talking to Bandai Namco. I'd be talking to Shueisha. I'd start talking to Shonen Jump. I would immediately, and maybe this is already in the works, but I mean, can you fucking imagine, dude? Holy shit. Untapped gold mine there. But anyway, even if they don't do that, this is crazy, and DC is really on top. So I wonder what you guys think, man. Like, what do you guys think of this? Like, are any of you, for the first time ever, starting to, like, want to pull DC books? Because, like, right now, I pull way more Marvel books. You know, I pull all the Ultimates stuff. But after the Ultimates goes away, I might start pulling more DC. I might end up having more DC in my pull list. And especially because James Gunn's about to get fired, you know. I think DC has a super bright future. This is crazy. It's comics, no big. What? I'm not pulling new Marvel. I pull DC. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, DC collaborated with the Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers in the comics. Yup. James Gunn definitely not getting fired. You're delusional. Oh, don't worry, Ben Cheese. We're going to talk about it. Rumor is John Roca and Christian Harloff are reporting that there's actually truth to that rumor. That's what I heard. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Yeah. I love comics, but it's very niche. Marvel is more focused on gaming because it's more broad appeal. Well, I'll say this. They're killing DC in gaming right now. Like, there ain't no way DC is even close to Marvel right now in the games. But they could get there. DC has great IP. They just need, like, good devs, you know? I mean, Marvel kind of got lucky with some of these games, brother. Like, I don't think Kevin Feige was like, we need a Marvel Rivals, you know? Marvel Rivals just happened, and it was good. Absolute Comics been crushing everything else in my pool list. Nice, man. James Gunn's going to get thrown out like a sack of potatoes. Maybe. We'll see. DC Comics storylines have always been better. The movie adaptation's just not it. Yeah, that's fair. DC has great characters, great stories. I kind of like that Joshua Williams is apparently on Legion, right? Or he's doing a new Legion series. I mean, that's great. I love the Legion. I'm excited for Williams. I think there's some good stuff happening in comics. There's obviously just a lot going wrong with the industry overall, but man, credit where credit is due. DC Comics doing something really meaningful here. So Harloff is streaming about Gunn right now. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm actually serious, guys. They're saying it's probably there's some truth to it. So we're going to speculate. I'll look at what's going on. I'll look at what people are saying online. But I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. If I were Ellison, I would fire Gunn. Not even so much because of what Gunn has done or not done, but because I truly think DC is bigger than Gunn, and I think DC has the opportunity and can be incredibly cohesive, successful, commercial. And I do think Gunn hurts that a little bit, frankly. Yeah, new Legion, baby. We spend more time talking about Gunn than DC. Need to quit steady hand behind the scenes. A quiet, steady hand. I totally agree with you. That's a great point. We talk more about Gunn than we do about the DCU. That's not cool. Nobody wants to do that. Sounds like DC is going to be very right-wing. Yeah, probably. No, it's not going to be very right-wing. Almost all of these artists and people that I'm talking about in comics right now are probably left-wing. Most of them, you know. Who would I hire? It's a good question. I mean, I would want somebody young. I would want somebody young with vision, man. You know? It's a tough one. I don't know. Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys, about DC Comics, Marvel Comics? I'll probably end this segment soon, but any other thoughts about this? I'm like truly blown away by this. Like, I saw this, I was like, holy shit. Like, that's seriously a big deal. I never in a million years thought they'd bring Homelander and fucking Sub-Zero into the DC multiverse for a comic or for a big tournament. Holy shit. Shalami Leaner says, when WB gets sold off, will we get another reboot or will they continue but with better stuff? What would you do? I mean, I'm interested to hear what the rumors are. There's three options. Hard reboot, soft reboot, or just keep going. You know, and I got to be honest with you, I would hard reboot. Look, there's some evidence to suggest, Adam actually brought this up on Twitter over the weekend, and I thought about it. I was like, damn, he might actually have a point. There's some evidence to suggest that Gunn knew he was not going to have this job forever. Like, I'm kind of being serious. Like, if you look at some of these moves he's making, and some of the more, like, egregious, like, oh, you're really going to hire all your own people kind of shit, kind of makes a little bit more sense when you think, like, oh, this dude knew what was going on. He was the interim coach. He was the interim head coach between a merger. Yeah, he might have totally known, you know, and hey, who cares? You know, he got the last laugh. He got millions of dollars. He got to make a Superman movie. You know, I don't think that you know, fair play to him is what I would say. I'm more concerned about the future of DC. I really don't like Gunn, but more than just not liking him, I truly don't think DC is in good hands with him. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I frankly don't think he's the right guy for the job. So I'm like, I really want somebody else in there, frankly. Man of Tomorrow or Batman 2? Man of Tomorrow for me, dude. Man of Tomorrow for me. It is what it is. You know, just being honest. Like, I don't really like what Reeves did with Batman. You know? I think Reeves is a great filmmaker. In a lot of ways, I prefer Reeves to Gunn. But that's not, like, my Batman. That's not what I want out of Batman. It's like hockey pad wearing emo guy. You know, like sort of a postmodern, like, let's try to make this hyper realistic. Like, what would it actually look like? I'm uninterested in all of that. I think Gunn, his instinct to just make comics is correct. I am super sick of like the whole my take on this hero. No, give me the hero. You know? So yeah. Anyway, I guess we should just get into that other stuff then, huh? We'll end this one here. We'll end that segment there. So I'm kind of, I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked that, like, apparently Harloff and Rocha are saying that there's some truth to this DC thing. Is there any, like, clips out there where they talked about it? Did anybody, like, clip it, put it on Twitter yet? Or can anybody, like, give me a TLDR of what they are saying? I'll look on Reddit and see if I can find anything. Because this is wild, dude. Any clips? I'm kind of shocked. Maybe I'll just DM the lad. I gotta tell you, man, if that actually ends up happening, if Gunn truly does let go, there's going to be a shit storm, dude. Oh, let me read that, Vandolph. I'm sorry, brother. Let me read that. I'll get back to you on this. The Hat Man has ruined the comic book side of Marvel to make it as mediocre as what he's done with after Endgame. If this dude isn't taken out of there, the writers will see this as a talent graveyard. Sad. Yeah, there's some truth in what you're saying, bro. Like, legitimately, like, I really like James Gunn. I really like James Gunn. I really like Kevin Feige. I do not really like James Gunn. But in all seriousness, like, one of the big mistakes that Marvel has made, which I believe is a Kevin Feige thing, has been to kind of like make, like, people call it like the MCU-ification, like putting Kevin into the comics, making Thanos look like he does in the MCU in the comic books, killing off Miss Marvel only to bring her back in an X-Men book because you want to build her as an X-Men in the MCU, like all of that sort of stuff. That shit sucks ass, dude. I don't like any of that. And you are ruining some of the good fun that Marvel was on its own, which totally predate the MCU, predates Kevin Feige. Like, dude, Marvel was dope way before Kevin Feige showed up, you know? The point is, though, I do think, despite everything he's done for Marvel, there is this sort of other shoe that's dropping of like, okay, but now you're suffocating it. Now you're so focused on making your thing the thing for the whole company that you're suffocating out the good stuff that could exist that's not your shit. You know? So there's some truth there, dude. Kind of a bummer. Like, it sucks that that's a reality, but yeah. Yeah. I recently rewatched Infinity War, and the Guardians were so much comedy and stupidity for what that movie was, in my opinion. Yeah, they probably were. They probably were. I don't really remember having a problem with it, though. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to have to... I'll just do the segment. I wish I knew exactly what those guys were saying over there. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see here. Let's see here. See if I can find this. Hmm. Interesting. Huh. All right. Maybe I go. Man, okay. With Ellicent and Ellis, Superman will be back to truth, justice, and the American way. Yeah, some people believe that, yeah. Okay, let's get into this a little bit. So we need to talk about James Gunn, we need to talk about Warner Brothers, and we need to talk about Paramount and Skydance. Crazy times, guys. You know, we've been kind of following for a while the purchasing rumors, the sell rumors for Warner Brothers Discovery. Zaslav has always wanted to sell this fucking company. We've sort of followed that over the past couple of years. But more recently, it's gotten a little serious with Paramount wanting the company and with Zaslav wanting to start a bidding war, a lot of different games being played. And one of the most recent reports was that there was an offer made and rejected by Warner Brothers. And there might be another offer being made. There was some reporting that maybe Ellison was out there buying stocks in the public market and was going to try to do a hostile takeover, although I don't think that's actually what it is. But like that kind of popped off as a little rumor. Apparently they're trying to gather together something like 80 billion or something, which seems like double what I think all of those assets are worth from what I've seen. I think it's valued at like 40 billion total or whatever. I've seen some reporting in financial magazines, even from this morning, you know, where Ellis is talking about how even Zaslav has said that consolidation needs to happen. And really what you're seeing is Hollywood understanding that Hollywood itself might diminish so much as an industry that maybe combining studios together and creating like a tech company that leverages multiple Hollywood studios is maybe the only way for them to survive and fight against tech companies and companies like Amazon or Netflix going into the next stage of entertainment. So maybe Hollywood, in order to survive, has to join forces, has to actually consolidate, and Paramount and Warner Brothers becoming the same company is maybe a way that that happens, right? So, insanity. So many implications to that. Well, with all of this heating up, there's been a lot of questions about what will happen with James Gunn. And there's reporting coming out, and so far, the reporting is coming from what I would describe as like not the best sources. Okay, I would just describe this as not the best sources. Over on Cosmic Book News, you had Matt McGloin, who I think Matt actually does get some stuff right. I got to be honest with you, I think Matt does get some stuff right. But out here reporting that a very good source is saying that James Gunn will not be in charge of DCU if the sale goes through. It says here, in short, James Gunn will be out as head of DCU with the WBD sale. I'm told if David Ellison and Skydance Paramount buys Warner Brothers, that Mike DeLuca will be in charge of DC and do a completely new start. Okay, so that's the reporting that's out there. Okay, and again, that comes from what I would describe as not a great source. However, there were reports predating this one from Matt McGloin, and there was a lot of industry buzz about this as a possibility. Okay, I joked about this a little bit because the thing about Ellison is that they seem to be making a sort of branding position to position Paramount and Paramount Plus as somewhat of a conservative-friendly brand. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be like, that's just what it is. No if, and, or buts about it. That is absolutely what they're doing. And you can look at various comments made by them. You could look at the language being used when they break some of the news about their acquisitions. Look at the UFC deal. Look at the comments made by Ellison about not raising the price in Middle America and flyover states and stuff like that. Look at the catalog they're building with all of these different actors like Stallone. Yeah, it's super obvious. Paramount wants to be known as a conservative, friendly, or maybe even a traditional American company. Now, of course, it's not like he's going to be fully on that side. It's not like he's going to turn CNN into a conservative company, because I think, by the way, I think they've actually tried that before. They tried to make CNN balanced, and then they tried to make it conservative, and it didn't work, right? So it's not like the company's only going to do conservative things, but in general, I think it's fair to say that you can analyze the behavior of these people, and it does seem like that's sort of an audience group that they're sort of cozying up to, okay? Now, I brought this up, too, when we were talking about all this sort of stuff, where the thing that's kind of wild is, you know, they just did this big deal with UFC. Well, Zack Snyder is doing a massive movie with the UFC. So some big production that they're doing for the UFC. And I remember joking as this deal was being talked about a couple of weeks ago that, like, yo, wait a minute. Paramount buys Warner Brothers. Paramount just bought the UFC. Paramount's making the UFC movie. Zack Snyder's making the UFC movie. Wait a minute. What if they just restore the Snyderverse? Okay? And that was just like a crazy, like, trolly, like, kind of funny thing to say. Well, all of a sudden, it seemed like this could actually be a possibility, okay? So just this morning, you know, Christian Harloff and John Roca, two people that have pretty good sources that are in the entertainment space, they're literally streaming right now as I'm making this segment. And from what I've heard from people that have come into chat, they're suggesting that there's some truth to this, that Gunn could actually be out at DC. And so, look, I'm looking forward to looking at what they said exactly, and we'll do a follow-up to this segment as more information comes out there. But, like, if you're honestly asking me, like, is there a chance that this actually happens, that Gunn does actually go away? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? Now, here's why. Here's why this could be happening. The biggest reason that this could be happening is just a branding. It's just a branding conflict, really. Because, frankly, Gunn's Superman, I think, is branded as being Gunn's Superman. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. I think it frustrates a lot of people like myself. Some people don't think it's that big of a deal. But it was obvious that Warner Brothers decided to make Gunn one of the stars and the front-facing pieces to the marketing. That's why he was on everything. That's why he's saying, hi, it's James Gunn, you know, and then he's on all the commercials, you know, he's in all of the footage, you know, he's coming out on stage with the actors and all that sort of stuff. And he was the Marvel guy, so it kind of makes sense. You could argue a lot of the actors that they got for the movie are not A-list actors, like Robert Downey Jr. and all that, right? So, yeah, it makes sense. But what that in turn resulted in is a DC that is very much associated with James Gunn. And I think that is just true, and that's fair. And it also means something. It doesn't mean that, like, anything could happen. It doesn't mean that you expect a whole bunch of, like, dark, awesome, like, it has a very specific connotation, a very specific feeling. And frankly, do you know what that is? It's Peacemaker. Deadass. That's what it is. The James Gunn DCU feels like Peacemaker. It feels like Suicide Squad. It feels like Guardians. And I think if I were Ellis and I were looking at how I wanted to use the DC characters, because this is big IP, brother. Like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, that's massive. That's huge IP. Maybe some of the biggest IP on the planet. I think if you look at what's going on right now with Warner Brothers and their handling of DC, which is frankly happening under the leadership of Gunn, it's all fucked up. I mean, I talked about it all the time, dude. Are you kidding me? Batman in 3 years, and it's not even your Batman. Superman into Supergirl? Into Clayface? Superman can't even make what Man of Steel made. Like, this isn't popping off. Dude, Creature Commandos can't shark. Like, this is not, like, let me just ask you this. Even if you're a big fan of DC, even if you're a big fan of the Superman movie, even if you're a big fan of James Gunn, I feel like you'd have to admit that DC is being underutilized. That this is not the ideal to pop the fuck off with the DC characters. Can we at least admit that? Can we at least admit that this is not going as good as it could be? I think that's totally fucking fair, dude. I think that's totally fucking fair, and I think it's obvious. So if I were a billionaire looking at an acquisition for IP, which, come on, man, they're not buying this because James Gunn's Superman just made $615 million in the global box office. That is so obviously not why they want to buy Warner Brothers, right? DC is way more valuable than what James Gunn has been able to get out of DC. So from that perspective, if I'm looking at how to leverage DC for my brand, I'm thinking fresh start. I'm thinking all the red tape that stopped it from popping off the way that it should have is all getting removed. I want one visionary with corporate considerations in control of this thing. And we're going to build it, plan it, cancel everything, and restart at a certain date and time. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? Like, frankly, that is honestly what I would do. But, you know, somehow that still does feel a little far-fetched, especially because if you think about it from Warner Brothers' perspective, all the focus and emphasis on Superman and, you know, the DCU overall, like, Zazie was doing all of this to try to bolster the price. Like, he's just trying to get that stock price to go. Like, he's just trying to make that feel more appealing to some other corporations, right? So there was a lot of work done that was sort of done to try to prop this up. And Gunn played ball, you know, Gunn cut stuff and changed stuff. And, you know, I think it's as good of a partner as you could ask for from Zaslav's perspective, considering the circumstances. So I don't know, man. It's just interesting how it's all gone down. I honestly would not be surprised. I mean, that feels like some cold ass corporate bullshit, man. I will say this though. There's going to be a huge backlash if this happens. There will be massive backlash, okay? I think probably the real thing to do, the best thing to do if this goes through is to let Gunn, I would say, this is what I would do. I would maybe say, let's hold off on that Man of Tomorrow going into production. Let's see how Supergirl does. If Supergirl bombs, it might be Jover. Like, I'm going to be honest. If Supergirl bombs, it might be Jover. Because especially from the perspective of the conservative billionaire guy, if Supergirl underperforms, that's going to just sort of justify for me a feeling that I have that DC should be more than like James Gunn's little group of misfit toys, you know? So yeah, that's where we stand here, guys. Frankly, a lot of reasons to believe that this rumor is bullshit, you know? I haven't really heard too much from very reliable people. It is kind of interesting that Harloff is talking about it. It is kind of interesting that that John's talking about it, and I'm, you know, more than willing to talk about it as well. I wonder if there will be more smoke here. I still have a hard time believing that it will happen. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to happen? I kind of don't think so. I think Gunn is here to stay. But when these kind of things happen, when mergers happen, when acquisitions happen, the probability of very crazy black swan events going on go up like astronomically. So like from a basically 0% chance to a 5% chance, that's almost like an unlimited percentage of increase in probability. It would be wild if Paramount went with Matt Reeves. Yeah, it would be wild, yeah. Supergirl is gonna bomb. If the normies didn't go see Superman or weren't into it, how are they gonna show up for the girl version? That's, I mean, like, dude, you're kind of being a dick about it, but that's my point. I've been trying to, like, that's just the succinct way to say it. If normies didn't see Superman or weren't into it, they're not gonna show up for the girl version. I would say it's a derivative. It's like the same thing with Ballerina. Which, by the way, it's so funny, right? When the Ballerina movie flopped, everybody was like, oh, but it's girl John Wick. Of course it was always going to do worse. Well, then what's the point in making girl John Wick, really? You know what I mean? Like, deadass. Like, what's the fucking point? What are you doing here? And is that the mentality for this, too? Like, dude, of course, is that what Gunn's going to say when it bombs? Of course Supergirl was always going to make less than Superman. Then why'd you follow up Superman with Supergirl when you're trying to launch your fucking universe? You know? That's crazy to me. Harloff said he doesn't believe Gunn will be out, but they are covering it as a what if because you never know what actually happens. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense then, yeah. I heard Ballerina was good, but I still haven't watched it. Well, that's because you're a sexist, horrible person. And if you want to be a good person, you better go watch Girl John Wick. Gunn and his 70s soundtrack music. I think Gunn's taste in music is actually pretty good. It's like one of his redeeming qualities. Warner Brothers rejected the Paramount offer. Yes, reportedly, they rejected the first offer, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I think we'll probably know soon, though. I've seen some people speculate that this deal could be closed by the end of the year. I would imagine that they want it to be done. I think Zaslav wants it to be done. Everybody wants this to just be done. Everybody wants to just move on to the next thing. I'm only kind of sexist. Oh, okay, gotcha. Snyder sucked. Gunn did well. But DC is just in the game too late. Superhero films are on the outs. Sadly, Marvel can survive if they can adapt by meshing with other genres. Horror, anime. Yeah. I think there's some truth in that too. But then it's like, okay, so I guess my rebuttal to that would be, if that's what it is, then isn't it the person's job who is in charge of the thing, the president of the studio, to understand the state of the industry and to make the best content for that time? Meaning, like, I don't know, in some ways, Gunn made like a Marvel Superman that's like a chapter 1. And I think you could argue that, given the state of where fans are at with comic book movies, making a first chapter Superman that's a Marvel movie might not have been the move. And you look at the box office and say, yeah, might not have been the move. At what point does he become accountable for that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. HBO Max to Sunset and Paramount double the cost? Yeah, probably. But he said he wasn't going to raise the price, though, for the UFC. So I doubt they would raise it for James Gunn's shit, you know? Yeah. Did watch Superman, and it needs to be done. I'm done. Oh, shit. James Gunn is the GOAT. If Static was in Superman, we would all be bowing. I mean, sure, bud, sure. Yeah, because that's always said and didn't raise the price. Did they ever raise the price of the Arizona iced tea? That's how you know our economy is actually fucked. When that guy has to raise the price of the Arizona iced tea, then we're going to know for sure that we're cooked, man. Shit. All right, let's talk a little bit about Marvel TV announcements. Are you guys excited about the Marvel TV announcements, huh? You excited about the announcements? Should we talk about the announcements? No, and he said he'd close the business down before that happened. Damn, really? Shit. Wow. All right, let's talk about some Marvel announcements. So, New York Comic Con, kind of big deal. Lots of interesting updates given from Marvel Studios. So, I figured we'd go through the announcements, kind of give you my thoughts and all that sort of shit. So, we'll start out with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, which really, I'm glad this show exists, man. Out of all the goobly glob that's come out of the past couple of years, this is literally one of the best things they've done. And it's one of those things that I would like this to continue. I would like 4, 5 seasons of this. I think it's a great show. I really enjoyed it. I think it'd be fun to go back to. Maybe I'll watch it with Liam when he gets a little bit older. But what was announced at Comic-Con, basically Brad Winderbaum took the stage at New York Comic Con to discuss season 2 of Marvel's animated Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. The show will return to Disney Plus in fall of 2026 for new episodes, confirming a specific release time frame for the first season. Season 2 picks up right where season 1 left off, with a major focus on Peter's lore and history. Fans will remember season 1 ending with a reveal that his father, Richard Parker, was alive and in jail as Aunt May paid him a visit. There was also more action with symbiotes after the season ended with a tease of Venom. So they announced that Venom officially is coming back and going to be a part of season 2. They did get their first look at season 2, which confirmed Charlie Cox's return as Daredevil. Additionally, you'll get Gwen Stacy, which is pretty cool. The footage includes a new look at Otto Octavius and the alien symbiote Venom, which people went crazy for. Peter Parker returns to Oscorp to find a symbiote before striking a deal with Norman Osborn. The trailer closes with Robbie falling off a roof, a la Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it cuts right before Spider-Man smooches him on the lips. Interesting choice. We'll see how people respond to that. Winterbaum hyped up Venom by telling the audience fans of Venom should get excited. Yo, that's cool, man. Genuinely excited for that. Gonna be cool late in the year. Now, Brad has said recently, which, by the way, I really like Brad Winderbaum, man. I really like Brad Winderbaum. I hope that Brad has a bright future at Marvel Studios. I frankly think he could take over for Kevin Feige eventually. Like, I think he's that talented. Unfortunately, being the head of Marvel Television with so much baggage and, a lot of I have a bad taste in my mouth about Disney Plus stuff. That's going to hurt him, I think, a little bit. But I really like Brad, man. I really like Brad. And so he's out here hyping this up. Now, one of the things he said before Comic-Con was that they should be able to have this come out at a pretty quick clip. There's a delay, like most shows, between season 1 and 2. But from there, it should literally only have about a year between each season. And they should be able to fire these things off pretty consistently. So that's kind of cool. And I'm excited for that. Next up, X-Men 97 Season 2. And, man, I got to tell you, I'm very excited for X-Men 97 Season 2. Now, my original understanding of this was that they were going away from Bo's stuff completely. Okay, now remember, there's a story that came out, man, it was, I want to say it was like in the middle of last year. And this was actually after some comments that Bo made, because obviously Bo's been out there. He's been talking about Marvel. We've been discussing his comments, periodically. I forget exactly what happened, but it was like one of the things he said really pissed them off. And apparently the rumors were that they went in and changed a lot of season 2 so that they would go away from Bo's story so that he would no longer get executive credit producer on the show. Now, I've been told that that's not exactly what happened. And I've been told that there's a good chance that they actually do keep a lot of Bo's stuff, which I think would be great. I don't think Bo has spoken about this publicly at all since the weekend, at least to my knowledge. I haven't seen him speak about this at all. But that's my general impression. I will say that there is a trailer out there for the season. It's leaked out online. I'm not going to pull it up for you right here because I don't want to get dinged on YouTube, but you can go check it out on social media. It's really cool. And it, of course, promises a lot of interesting stuff with Apocalypse and different X-Men. They're already doing pre-animatics for season 3, and so they're going to roll right into that. look, at the end of the day, guys, X-Men 97 to me, season 1 is like a masterpiece, and it was something Marvel really needed, and it saved Marvel in some ways, and it's literally one of the best things they've ever created. Not everybody agrees with that, by the way. I saw, and I don't want to call anybody out by name, but Owen Likes Comics, the popular YouTuber and person that's on social media, Owen Likes Comics, that's at Owen Likes Comics, said he didn't really like X-Men 97 season 1. I literally felt like messaging him and being like, I'm starting a blood feud with you that will now last generations. That's how much I like X-Men 97, where I feel like going medieval on people that don't like it. Point being, I really like X-Men 97 season 1. And like many of you, I'm really concerned about what's going to happen from here. Obviously, Bo was a big part of season 1, and now that he's not involved anymore, a lot of concerns, dude. You know, I mean, number one, I have the concern of like, okay, well, what if they try to make it really great and they just miss? And he was really important. Oh my God, that just feels bad. But then there's an even worse version, which is like, what if Marvel makes the show bad on purpose? Like, what if Marvel wants to destroy Bo's legacy by changing all this shit and making it impossible for X-Men 97 season 2 to be incredible? So there's a lot of worry. There's a lot of like weird, like, what the fuck? But here's what I can say. I'm starting to feel optimistic about this. I feel like a lot of because it wasn't just Bo, we give Bo all of his credit, but it wasn't just Bo. And there were people that Bo really fucking likes and cares about a lot that are still on this show, that are still working really hard, and that cooked with him, that are now cooking without him. And they really love X-Men. They love X-Men. They love Marvel fans. The thing about X-Men 97 is it really has to prove to us that season 2 can be as good. If it can be as good or even close, frankly, I think we're off to the races because they're going to do more. I think they're going to do like 4 or 5 seasons of this. And it's literally one of the best things that's going on for Marvel right now. So it's certainly a weird one because the first season was so good and all the stuff with Bo and everything like that, of course. But I'm optimistic here. And so I'll read to you the basic updates here. X-Men 97 executive producers Eric and Julia Lee Wald, showrunners and writers on the animated series, took the stage with Davis to tease what's coming for the animated Mutant series. They kicked off the panel by confirming season 3 is in development and telling the crowd season 2 tees up season 3 in a massive way. The season is also confirmed to come to Disney Plus in summer of 2026. So summer 2026, dude. X-Men 97 season 2. I'm very excited for that. In the new trailer for season 2, fans see footage of Apocalypse, who will be the main villains of the new episodes. The X-Men are confirmed to be scattered across the past and future as they look to get back to their time period in the 90s. Love that part in the trailer when Bishop said, we got to get the X-Men back to the 90s. Dude, come on. If you're a 90s kid, man, like me, hell yeah. That's the shit we love, that nostalgia. So, yeah, very, very cool. Very exciting stuff. I'm going to move right along here, but of course, we'll address all of your questions and concerns about X-Men 97. Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2. Marvel Studios moved from animation to live action for new information on Born Again Season 2, which is confirmed to debut on Disney Plus in March 2026. Again, head-to-head with Invincible Season 4. That's a bold move, Matt. I mean, I know you can't see it, but that's some stiff competition, brother. Okay. Season 2 coming in March. Fans got to see a new trailer for the new season, which offered plenty of new details about the story. Stars Charlie Cox and Kristen Ritter made appearances on stage. Karen Page and Matt Murdock rekindled the romantic relationship they built during the original Daredevil Netflix series. Getting milkshakes in a diner and giving off romantic tension. Matt is also attacked by something sonic in nature. So Matt is done with that horrible, nasty bitch that we all fucking hate from the first season. What's her name? What was her name? What was his girlfriend's name? Oh. And he's back with Karen, who, honestly, before Daredevil Born Again, I didn't even really like Karen, to be honest with you. Heather. Fuck Heather, man. Oh, Heather, you crusty hooker. God, I hate your ass. So we're all really excited that Matt is back with Karen where he belongs. She's going to take real good care of him, and she's not going to lecture him every episode, which is going to be awesome. Karen, other shots included the highlights, Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk at a boxing gym, appears to have an underground prison, similar to what fans saw at the end of season 1. There's also a flashback look at Foggy Nelson after his tragic passing in season 1. Basically, guys, the trades confirm that Foggy's back. They're totally going to be back. So yeah, Foggy, he lived somehow. Ritter's Jessica Jones opened up on screen in her first action for Marvel Studios since season 3 in 2019. She called it surreal and said that the feeling was as if no time had passed. They also discussed the Defending team, teasing a potential Defenders reunion in the Netflix Defenders saga. Oh, that would be cool. Okay, moving on. Wonder Man. Fuck, man. Okay, here's what to say about Wonder Man. I'm just gonna run you through it. They're trying to act like it's really cool and it's awesome and it's fun, but it got delayed into 2026. They're literally dropping all the episodes at one time, so they're just doing that binge thing. It's just really hard for me to act like Marvel doesn't know exactly what this is. So I think it's just a little too late, and there's been too much. People are pretty over it, and I don't think this little quirky side project I mean, dude, it's a Marvel project that glorifies Hollywood. Brother, we're over Hollywood, we're over Marvel. You fucked up. Terrible idea. I don't want to see shit about Hollywood anymore. My God. So I just think it's just a bad timing. It's bad timing, okay? And so I don't expect Wonder Man to do very well. It's all coming out on January 27th. Every single episode is going to drop then. 8 episodes. Binge it or don't. I don't care. They also talk about Vision Quest a little bit during the panel. And I don't think they have a confirmed date for it. It could hit in 2026 or it could not. Now, let me just tell you here. I mean, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Brandon Davis. He made this panel better than it was supposed to be, and Charlie was there because of Brandon. Kristen was there because of Brandon, and Brandon really loves the fandom, and he really wanted to turn up for this thing. And so shout out to him because he really did pull something off and make it very cool. That being said, I think Marvel TV stuff kind of underwhelming, man. You know, X-Men 97 is awesome. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man's cool. Daredevil, I'm going to be watching kind of like this, like, you know, and even though it looks really cool and season 2 leaks are interesting, I don't know. It's just like hard to get excited for Marvel on Disney Plus, man. Like genuinely, it is hard to get excited for Marvel on Disney Plus. But I think they did the best that they could. I will tell you this. I personally am incredibly grateful that we're almost out of the woods. And I have a big video. I think it's like a 16, maybe a 20-minute video, which I think is going to drop tomorrow. And it's talking about how 2025 was the weirdest year ever for me covering Marvel Studios and why I think 2025 was actually the bottom. And so watch that video because it's really going to take you through like what happened, what to expect, how bad is it really, and is there actually the possibility of this thing turning around? But the TLDR, guys, and this is something we kind of know already, is 2025 was the year that Marvel just threw all the slop out. You know, they were like, we have all these projects. You know, originally they were supposed to drop 9 projects in 2025. And I think they just decided enough is enough. We're just going to throw it all out in 2025, get it all out of our system, and then will be right as rain. And obviously it's not every single movie or every single project because I actually thought Thunderbolts was great and Fantastic Four was great. But like, dude, that's what most of 2025 was. Like, just get it over with. And I'm thankful that we're almost on the other side of this. Once Wonder Man is over, it's really just Vision Quest. And then I think all the Goobly Glob shows, everything that was greenlit during Phase 4 and 5 is over. So that will be for the first time ever. We actually have, like, any show that we see from that point on will have been conceived of and greenlit when Marvel is at its place where it's at now. Which to me makes me a lot more hopeful because it's not going to be all this Goobly Glob side project 30 female characters to 1 male character. Like all the shit that I think they did terribly. I'm actually really looking forward to getting past this. The problem for Marvel, and the question is, how much damage was done in 2025 by continuing to say that things are changing and yet give us stuff that Elizabeth Olsen recorded lines for 3 years ago? You got Kate Bishop Ironheart and Miss Marvel starring in your first episode of Zombies. Yeah, I don't think you wrote that last year. Are we changing or not? Right? And unfortunately, that question is going to hang over every single thing that Marvel Studios does and talks about for the next couple of years. I am hopeful for Marvel Studios. I can take this series of announcements here about Disney Plus as a good sign because some of it's cool, and by and large, it just means that like the worst is over now. We're almost out of the woods, and that is very positive. That is very positive, and that's very exciting. So that's my take on Marvel television. What do you guys think? What are your questions, comments, concerns? What do you think about X-Men 97? What do you think about Daredevil? What do you think about Spider-Man? What do you think about these shows? Aubrey says with a $20 holla, and that's very generous, says, what's up with Marvel using black characters in the most whimsical and goofy way? They killed T'Challa and replaced him with She-Panther, and Mid Williams been over Marvel. Love the show, brother. Yeah, so I think, like, frankly, it comes from the fact that they're not doing this from a good place. And I'm not trying to judge too harshly here, but frankly, like, we have to be real. Hollywood decided to do this not out of the goodness of their heart and not because they had a story to tell, but because they thought it was like the right thing to do or because they thought it could actually maximize profit. At the end of the day, what Disney tried to do with Marvel and Star Wars was not done because they wanted to correct some cosmic injustice that the male gaze had caused, but that they were doing this to try to expand the reach of their brand and products to more consumers. Like, do you understand that? Do you understand that that's what happened? That they weren't like, oh, we got to make up for what Walt Disney did and damn, Stan Lee was a bigot and shit like that. No, it was like, dude, we could sell Marvel figurines to Disney princesses. Period. Exclamation point. That's what it was. And so what you're really asking me is, why did they fail? Why does it all feel so silly and goofy? Because it's not coming from a good place. It's not like this is a fan of T'Challa or like a big time fan that was impacted by these powerful, strong black characters that wants to replicate that energy. No, that's not what's happening. It's like, oh, well, obviously, yes, we're going to use the black characters, but we're whimsy. We're Marvel, we're light, we're goofy as fuck because, again, we want to sell Marvel figures to Disney princesses. So because there's no, like, I guess what I would say, it's soulless. Like, it's soulless. And because it doesn't have a soul, because it doesn't have a resonance, because there's not energy behind it, because it doesn't feel, like, dude, you can fucking feel it. You can feel the difference. There's a difference between authentic story and authentic, like, caring for the characters, fan service or whatever, and, oh, this Hollywood person is just using your IP. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's truly what I think it is. It's not so much that there's an agenda. Like, maybe there's some people, that are like, hey, I want the black characters to be goofy. But by and large, like, that's not what's happening. It's not this big agenda to, like, make the strong male black characters goofy. But it ends up looking like that because there's no counterweight. There's nobody that actually gives a fuck about the strong male black character. So because you don't have an anchoring like, oh, I actually give a fuck and I live and breathe this shit, there's nothing to counterbalance the whimsy. Like, does that make sense? Did that come across okay? I hope that made sense. That's my take on it, And, like, look, there's this other side of it, too, which is, like, it's uncomfortable. And it's why I get a lot of hate, because a lot of people just don't get it. But, like, I'm really past trying to cater the way that I talk about this to reach people in a way that I don't even think they're going to give me the grace of trying to receive it that way. Meaning, for a long time, I would try to say things in a certain way because I knew people would take it a certain way, or they would conflate it with this other idea or this concept. And so I would try to like really craft the way I would say this in a way that would like really try to reach the other person, you know? But then you realize like most of those other people actually are not going to extend that same energy back to you. And in fact, it's actually the opposite of that. They're going to try to make you look terrible. So I've kind of flipped into this position. I think maybe a lot of people have, where like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm going to go tweet stuff like, I actually think the male gaze is awesome. And I'm so far past giving a fuck that like, I know there are well-meaning people that are going to see that and take it the wrong way and be offended. And I'm so far past caring that I don't even have empathy for those people anymore. I'm so mad about the state of things, which in some ways, again, is probably created because of how much consideration and like tiptoeing around and like walking on eggshells and all of this sort of stuff, right? I think that the softness and the over-capitulation to people that are just sensitive and low IQ has actually done serious damage to franchises and brands. So I'm over it, dude. I don't give a fuck if you're offended. In fact, I actually want you to be offended. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to win this fight with you by my side. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think, by the way, too, because like maybe that's like a, you know, an uncomfortable thing to sit with, or like it's like, oh shit. But I got to tell you, look around. I'm not the only one. I think you're going to see that energy. I think there's a fatigue. There's a fatigue of trying to put stuff gently. I think there's a fatigue of trying to get motherfuckers to understand. And I think you're going to see a lot of patience start to wear thin. And I think people might start to be a little more brash and a little more opinionated and perhaps a little more vocal about how they actually feel about shit, because I don't give a fuck about your feelings anymore. I need change. I need change. So I don't care if it hurts your feelings. I don't care if you conflate it with all these horrible things that you think I'm doing. I seriously don't care. And I think a lot of people are getting to that place. So I don't know. The discourse might, and I wonder too, what does that actually translate to? Because I think you could actually see a scenario in which things actually do get fixed up in the next couple of years. And then what will we say? And then what will we say? You know? Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting time, man. It's an interesting time, you know, just in general on social media, but particularly for Marvel. I just don't know how they overcome the perception of what Disney plus Marvel is and the perception of like how they look at and treat the fans. You know? Yeah. Long-winded answer, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm optimistic about that Disney report that they're going to start focusing on young males. Yeah, I mean, it's at least reassuring to hear that they don't want to completely say fuck off to that group, right? And that they are understanding that like, oh shit, we probably do need to appeal to young male audiences. It's a little sad that like, I mean, look, I'm saving a lot of the Star Wars stuff for Nerd Theory because I'm going to get real toxic tonight, boys. Oh, man. I'm about to get real toxic tonight. Romance novels. My brother in Christ. Romance novels. Okay. So you look at Star Wars, and it just seems like they've kind of given up. They're like, no, we did make it into a girl brand, so we're going to have to just, like, live with this girl brand. Probably going to have to put Rey in every movie now. We're making literal romance novels. Like, that's what it is. I think Marvel has a chance to, like, to dial it back and to, make some of their more traditional male-friendly, male-centric Marvel brands actually work and activate again. But, like, they do have to make changes, So, yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. Romance novels sell, though. I mean, that is true, Carl. You know what used to sell well? Star Wars. So, look, I get it, brother. Trust me. I know hey, Carl, cheers. Very good bait. Hey, you're the best, Carl. You're the best at rage baiting. Pretty good bait. Okay, you almost got me. I almost did a straight 40 minutes on it. We're going to save it for tonight. But yes, good job. Yeah. What time is Nerd Theory? Probably 5:30, brother. I haven't, probably 5:30. Theory usually sets it up. All right, anything else to say about Marvel Television, man? Wait, the romance novel shit actually real? Oh, it's real. Jay. Again, let's just save it. Trust me. I'm going to cook. I'm going to go Super Saiyan in toxicity. Super Toxic Saiyan 4. Like that shit is I'm gonna do an acapella. I'm doing a freestyle rap. Okay? I'm doing I'm doing OnlyFans. I don't know. Just show up tonight. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Just show up. Just fucking show up. All right. Anyway, anything else we want to talk about? Should we call it a stream? Or should we talk about Rivals Fall Off? I guess we already talked about James Gunn getting fired. That's kind of interesting. We could talk about Disney failing. What do you guys want to call it there? Did you see the new She Want Head video on romance books? It'd be a great topic for you to discuss on Nerd Theory. Oh my God, we should watch that. Is it like how it's all pervy and gross problematic stuff and women try to act like they're not actually the problem, but then you like look at the WNBA and you're like, oh my God, maybe women are the... I mean, I'm not saying that's what it is, but is that what the shoe video is about? Speculation. Okay. Whoa! 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 We'll watch the shoe video tonight with Theory, dude. How long is it? I like shoe, man. I do like shoe. Are the new Demon Slayer numbers actually real? Sony is saying it's 600 million. The original was 700 million, and now it's 500 million, which is real. It's still where it was, brother. Those reports were fugazi. I don't know what happened with that, but like most serious box office trackers did not acknowledge that report. So like there was a report that came out and said like they're missing 150 million dollars. Dude, Luis is not saying that's real. A lot of box office people are not saying. The video's an hour and a half. We ain't watching that shit. I don't like shoe that much. I'm not even gonna watch that myself. I can't. An hour and a half. Hell nah. Hell nah. Regardless, Demon is slaying. Demon is slaying, yeah. Any news about the upcoming Batman 2 movie? No, not that I've heard. Yeah, I mean, they're just working on it. Different people reading the scripts. It's going to come out in 2027, probably. Other than that, nothing. It's 30 minutes? What? Half an hour, not an hour and a half. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm dumb. Okay. All right, should we talk? I'll tell you what. Let's talk a little bit about Marvel Rivals falling off. And then we can talk, and then we can just chat for a little bit, and then we'll get out of here, okay? So this is being reported by Forbes. Now, look, man, we just talked about the other day, which, by the way, I didn't even post the clip. I didn't even post the clip on Friday. You know, the James Gunn getting all the backlash from Peacemaker. I was editing the clip, and I was like, you know, all these people, they get so fucking butthurt about my James Gunn takes. I didn't even publish the clip. Okay? So get off my fucking back. But anyway, we did talk about it on Friday because it's Forbes, dude. Forbes, it's like what they do. They're the financial people. So when Forbes comes out and says that Superman didn't really make money in theaters and that, like, some of these numbers are bullshit, just like we do whenever they talk about Marvel, I take Forbes reporting seriously, okay? And by the way, just on a side note, Forbes has done an incredible job of staying relevant as culture and the zeitgeist changes, because they do cover stuff like that. So they're being kind of smart about it. So anyway, new report from Forbes. Marvel Rivals has lost 85% of its players in just 10 months. Now, that is kind of shocking. Now, this is not the first time that we talked about the Marvel Rivals fall off. And it's kind of been an ongoing thing. A couple of bad seasons, a lot of player fatigue. I think matchmaking is completely broken. And so, yeah, this is not like the first time that we've heard about this or whatever, but it's a little staggering. And it is a little bit of a hit to the perception of the game and to the perception of Marvel when something like this does come out for Forbes. You know, Rivals, basically up until now, maybe up until the last couple of months, was a source of nothing but positive headlines for Marvel. Marvel Rivals was doing some heavy lifting for the Marvel IP, getting people into comic shops, getting people to check out the MCU for the first time. Like, Marvel Rivals was doing something. And the thing that's kind of crazy about this report from Forbes is that it's directly in a juxtaposition of a data point that early on was just as shocking in the positive direction for Marvel Rivals. I remember because we did a video about it, breaking it down, how Marvel Rivals had kept 90% of its players into the second month. So normally games come out, they have a huge pop off, and then they fall off. That's just what happens. You know, everybody plays it when it first comes out, and then it falls off. Rivals had kind of this really weird thing happen where basically a couple of months in, 90% of its players were still there, dude. And that is abnormal. I remember we made the video about it. I remember I saw all the thumbnails that are like, this is not normal. And talking about this whole Marvel Rivals thing. So it is kind of interesting that Rivals had this thing back in the day that was really abnormal. And now it's got this report, which is like almost the opposite of it. But here's the thing. I would argue that this news here for Rivals is somewhat normal. Obviously, the game has fallen off. But it's probably just fallen off to like the appropriate place for where games normally fall off, about a year away. You know, 10 months, a little under a year. Is it a great sign? No. Is it the end of the world? No. How can Rivals do better? How can it get some of its players back? Well, I think the best thing that it can do, really, is fix its matchmaking. And I wanted to kind of talk about this, too, because this takes me into, like, a wider conversation about matchmaking in video games. Let me ask you guys a question, man. How many of you guys played video games in the 90s and in the early 2000s? Throw a 1 into the chat. Did you ever play video games, and I'm talking about online, too, like online multiplayer, in the 90s or in the early 2000s? Anybody, chat? Does anybody know where I'm going with this when I talk about SBMM? Anybody know what SBMM is? This community is also just getting really toxic. Oh, the Marvel Rivals community? Really interesting. So, SBMM, I think it's kind of ruining gaming, to be honest. And I think it's actually a part of what hurt Rivals. Yeah. So it stands for skill-based matchmaking, which on the surface level doesn't sound that bad. You're like, wait, oh yeah, of course. Like, you would want to be matched up with players of a similar skill set to you. so that you could have more competitive games. That would create a better overall experience for people. But as it turns out, that's actually not what happened. And SBMM has actually created a pretty fucking terrible experience almost across the fucking board of video games. Now, this is hard to explain to people that A, don't play video games, or B, that didn't play video games in the 90s or the 2000s. But I'll try to explain it to you like this. Back in the day, I used to be able to get on Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War, whatever, okay? And you get in there, and I would fucking kick the shit out of people, dude. And, like, let's be real. Like, maybe at one time I was, like, a decent gamer or whatever, but I was never, like, pro level. There were a couple of games I really excelled at, but, I'm like an average gamer. These days, I'm kind of like an unk gamer, and, I'm probably pretty bad, to be honest with you. You do kind of age out of being good at video games. But, point is this. I'm like an average to decent player. And I would go into matches and consistent. I'm talking about like for hours on end. I would get in there and shit on people. Because back in the day, there was no SBMM. And you literally were just getting put in a game with random players that had a good internet connection. Okay? And dead ass, it was so fun. You could group up with your buddies. And you could play for hours, and you'd be shitting on people, dude. It was so fun. And then you'd play games, and you'd have other people that were, like, absolutely popping off. And it was just an incredible experience, okay? And for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's actually the algorithm that's setting the skill-based matchmaking up. I don't know if it's actually the case that skill-based matchmaking is a system that just doesn't work for whatever reason, because maybe I've heard other people break this down in like a more scientific way and bring in like nuance where they're like, actually this results in this, which is actually not creating a skill-based matchmaking for anybody. Actually, it's just creating like incredibly frustrating matches for basically every single person. It's resulted in a gaming experience that kind of sucks ass, dude, frankly. And when it comes to Rivals, and like this is the point. This is the point I'm trying to make here. When it comes to Rivals, the reason I bring up SBMM is because Marvel Rivals has a particularly infuriating grind, and I think it is because it tries to do SBMM. The game itself, I have two thoughts on this. I have like the one thought I have is that I think the game is kind of unbalanced, and it's a hero shooter that frankly was never really well balanced. This is something that really top level players have talked about for a long time with Rivals. I remember hearing people talk about this when Rivals first came out, like Flats, or even what's the one homie Necros. Like I watched other streamers talk about this and I didn't quite understand it, where at the time I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like it seems balanced to me, it seems fine or whatever, but now, like a year in, I kind of see what they're saying. I think it creates like very uneven gameplay loops, and often really unpleasant experiences for a lot of casual players mostly. The other thing I would say is I think the maps are terrible. I think the maps are very poorly designed because they allow casuals to like get lost and have a really bad time getting together. And so I think the maps are pretty terrible, mostly because they were probably designed with competitive play in mind and not for casual play. And the game itself isn't really balanced well for actual competitive play. So therefore, it's always going to be uneven. And it's like they're just trying to sort of balance it the best that they can. And because of that, which created a pretty bad grinding experience. Like, dude, honest to God, Rivals is a pretty unpleasant game to play for hours and hours. And you know how I know that? Because it's lost 85% of its players in 10 months. Like, that's just it. Like, that's as plain and as simple and as absolutely clear right in front of our faces. Like, let me say it a different way. If the grind for Marvel Rivals was an enjoyable experience, I think you would see a lot more people playing it. Is that fair? Like, is that fair? Like, I think that's a logical, fair explanation. And what I'm just trying to do in this segment here is like take sort of my perception of the game and my perception of gaming in general, right? And as a person that did play gaming, you know, a lot of multiplayer gaming when I was younger, and, you know, a lot less nowadays. And I see the commentary from people and I see how the discussions go. 85% of the people gone in 10 months is not a good look. And I think it's mostly because of the grind, and it's just really unsatisfying. It is a really unsatisfying experience to sit down and play Marvel Rivals for a couple hours. Is, for many folks, not an enjoyable experience. If it was, there'd be a lot more people playing it. So I don't know, man. It's just it's kind of interesting. I wonder if there's a solution to this SBMM. You know, I wonder, chat, because some of you guys play more games than I do. Has any competitive game figured this SBMM problem out? Because streamers have been talking about this for years, dude. Do you know what I mean? So has any game figured it out, actually, or are they all kind of still fucked? I'm curious if that's a thing, and then I'm curious your thoughts on Marvel Rivals. 85% down in 10 months is crazy. What do you think? And then what should they do to address this problem? Like, what do you guys think? Yeah. What do you guys think? Streamers are a part of the problem? Okay. In what sense? Give me a little more. Give me a little more. Give me a little more than that, huh? SBMM in Fortnite sucks ass. Does it? Okay, well, is there any game that's actually figured this out? Connection-based matchmaking? Black Ops 7 recently announced they're removing SBMM, so some progress is being made. Interesting. Okay, sure. Yeah. There's no solution to SBMM other than to let it go. COD followed suit in the combat battlefield hype. Oh, wait, what do you mean they followed suit? As in they did it or they got rid of it? All Might says, hey, I'm behind on the stream, but Tron was never a huge popular brand. I love it, but it's not a mainstream thing. A lot of kids can't even get through the first. Dude, that's crazy. Why did they spend $100 million and put Jared Leto in the one of them then? Like, there's so much Monday morning quarterback going on where people are like, oh, it's obviously not that popular. Then why did fucking Disney decide to make a movie for it? You know what I mean? Oh, they dropped it. Okay, cool. That's good. Oh, it's so obvious, dude. So obvious it's not popular. Oh, okay. Well, they must have known that when they made the movie, so they're probably okay with it not popping off then. It's gotten really toxic as well. I've had so many people purposely sell the game because they can't catch or play a character they want, or someone gives them a single gentle feedback on gameplay to win. Yeah, Rivals has kind of always had a toxicity problem. I think a little bit because of the Fortnite or the Overwatch players. And the Overwatch players is like a terrible group of players. But I don't know, because I feel like part of it is if you create a frustrating experience, like, okay, you rage out when you play Elden Ring, right? You rage out when you play the game where you have to climb and you can fall all the way down, right? Those games are designed to rage you out. So if you're playing that game, yeah, like you're going to get angry and rage out. Well, isn't that the same thing with Rivals in the sense that if you're playing a very terrible kind of grindy ranked experience, are you not more susceptible to raging out? So, like, in a sense, even the toxicity of their community is kind of their fault. Like, if they made a game more chill, maybe people would be more chill. You know what I'm saying? It is an interesting question. Online is worse to get destroyed. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Last time I remember this game being somewhat relevant was when F4 was released. Oh, no! Yeah, it hasn't really been popping like that. That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I think, they've got a lot of interesting characters they could put on in the game. I think the kits are cool. I think the maps suck. I think the SBMM sucks. I don't know, dude. It's tough. It is a tough problem. I don't know the solution for Marvel Realms, frankly. And I'm glad I don't have that job. I'm glad I'm not sitting there like, how do we make this game get its players back, you know? I see what you're saying, but the track record for Tron movies is they bomb at the box office, then become cult classics. I don't know why Disney made it, because they're burning all their other IP. I don't know why Disney made it. Maybe because they're burning all their other IP. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. It's just like, it's hard for me to say, because you say like Tron has never been big. I think that's meant, like, I think people say that because they're basically saying like, oh no, it's not that people hate Disney. Oh, dude, it's not a Hollywood problem. Oh, dude, no, it's not a girl boss problem. Oh, bro, no, it's no. It's Tron. And if that's what you're saying to me, I'm just going to tell you, like, I don't agree with you. I think it is a Disney thing. I think it's a Hollywood thing. You know what I mean? So, like, I literally disagree with you, if that's what you're saying. Problem is, like, half the player base wants the game to be a competitive direction. The other half wants it to be a casual experience, even in ranked. Yeah, there's some truth there. There's some truth there. I think that's fair. For me, the character design looks like trash, so I wasn't into it. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So for me, that's always a big hang up. If I don't like the art direction, dude, I cannot get into a game. Like, it's just very hard for me. Like super cartoony games, you know, it's just kind of tough, man. But I love the art direction for Rivals. I actually think it's really good. I think it's pretty lit, actually. I'm so done with these fucking idiots on Twitter. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be... I'm doing all cap, toxic as fuck replies to all of these idiots. If you want to be super toxic with me online, look at all of them. All of them. Look at this. Tommy Stella. I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You got me. Oh, Maggie. You can get it too, Maggie. You can get it too. Oh my God. All of them. Justin says, SBMM is in every game. COD has it backed. Oh, backed it down, but not leaving completely. Rank sucked. Yeah, I mean, I get it, Justin. I get it. But like you're literally one of these guys that like just ignores that it's not just Josh, you know? A lot of people have a problem with this. I think there's been enough people talking about this for enough years, and I think generally speaking, gaming is in this massive decline. Well, I shouldn't say I shouldn't say it's in a massive decline, but triple A production is certainly in a decline. And so I think it's fair when talking about what AAA publishers and people are putting out for like the big shooter games, if a whole bunch of people have a problem with the thing, like, come on, man. Like, that's a huge problem. They should get rid of that. Huge. All right, that's going to do it for Marvel Rivals discussion. It's totally fucked. Game's over. But I've actually been having a little bit of fun playing it recently, so there you have it. Doug Ditch says with a 5-spot, saw Tron in IMAX 3D at Weekend, and it was fucking incredible. Weak-ass story, but sensory insanity. Any nerd vendors into that, definitely see it. Yeah, again, a lot of people do think that's cool. Like, they like the spectacle element of it. You know? Hey, I want to show you guys. I want to show you. I just want to show you what I'm freaking out about. So look at all of these tards. Like, look at this, dude. Like, just quote tweeting my shit about it. And so I found all of these people, and I'm just spamming goofy ass, like, ha 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 ha, you really got me. Like, good job. Oh my God. Like, just the most obnoxious shit that you could possibly say. I might actually enter a villain arc. You know what I mean? Like, it might actually become No Girls Allowed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm struggling here because it's you know, it shouldn't like be that. But the more that I see them open their mouths, it's like, wow, maybe we double down. Maybe we triple down. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, Skyline, I hope you're watching, brother. Oh, wait, what? You are watching because you deleted it. That's okay. I'm going to copy it. It was a good reply. Like, just go all day. I can't wait. Dude, I'll stay glued to my computer all fucking day. The cap lock's on all day. You goofy ass, silly idiots. Like, you fucking ruined a whole franchise. Like, you're so, oh my God. I'm so sick of like trying to be reasonable to these people. Like, it's actually time to be unreasonable. Like, it's actually time to double down, to like fully embrace just literally the most toxic, no girls allowed, boys club mentality that you possibly can do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel as though that might be the only hope for Star Wars. You know? And the real thing that you need to know, chat, the real thing that you need to know is it's going to be a goddamn great nerd theory tonight. I can't fucking wait. I might wear a No Girls Allowed shirt. Oh, I'm fired up on them today. Oh, they're going to learn today. They're going to learn today. I swear to God, they're going to learn today. Oh, hey, yeah, what up, Theory? Yo, I think, yeah, no, yeah, it's time. It's time. We have to fully embrace sexism. Okay, I'll see you tonight. Okay, bye. Love you. Is everybody sexist? Gone? Did everybody leave? You know, it's no coincidence that sexism arrived right after women showed up. You know, so there's that. Am I allowed? Yes, Bianca, of course you're allowed. You're not like the other ones. Anyway. It's going to be a good night. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to get out of here. Try to hit the gym a little bit. You know? And then I'm very excited to have a nuanced discussion about romance, the male gaze, and Star Wars, whatever the fuck we're talking about. We're doing it tonight! Holy shit! And you know what else, too? This is real talk, actually, for those of you that... The thing that these dumb bitches don't understand, they are literally going to make the show better tonight. They've already made it more exciting, more anticipation. They will literally put more money in my pocket by lashing out and reeing into the fucking abyss. They're going to make me bigger than ever. Streisand effect. I'm done being nice. Done. So I'll see you tonight. And do me a favor. On your way out, would you do me a little favor? Open up your third eye and wash out your stinking